All right, guys, let me ask you a quick question. Howard Real, Real Truth, 877-254-7524. Let me ask you a question. Let's say you had someone running for president who was, I don't know, gay man. And you asked a lesbian, who are you going to vote for in the election or in the primary? You think she would vote for that guy? I would think she would, right? It ain't necessarily so. Item from Politico.com. Campbell Spencer, a lesbian and political consultant, moved to Washington in the 1990s to work in LGBTQ advocacy. She wooed gay and lesbian voters for Al Gore, worked a stint in the Obama White House, and now serves on the board of the LGBTQ Victory Fund, which this year issued its first ever endorsement of her presidential candidate, Peter Buttigieg. But Spencer herself will not be voting for Buttigieg. Quote, Mayor Pete, he's a trailblazer, Spencer said in an interview. But I'm one of these women who thinks we are way overdue for having a woman in the White House. That's a lens through which I'm going to filter my decision, unquote. My friends, Campbell Spencer is a very, very dangerous woman. And here's why. Nothing to do with her being a lesbian per se. She's going to vote for someone to be president, the CEO of this country, the leader of the free world, based on genitalia. No, not based on a track record, not based on honesty or integrity, not based on policies and strategy, not based on worldview or political alliances. She's going to vote based on a vagina. Now, if Campbell Spencer were the only person who votes in this stupid manner, I would feel a lot better. Unfortunately, there are millions of Campbell Spencers out there. It's time to have a woman president, and so that's who I'm going to vote for. Or it's time we had a black president, that's who I'm going to vote for. Folks, do you realize how dangerous this is? America needs informed, educated voters. I remember growing up hearing people say, I'm going to vote for so-and-so. I just think he's a good person. Or I like his hair. Yes, I actually heard that one. I'm going to vote for him. I don't know. I just get a good feeling about it. My friends, for 11 years, this radio show has been, metaphorically speaking, a sharp slap in the face. I want people who listen to the show to wake the hell up and start being smart if in the past they've been stupid. Campbell Spencer is stupid. In fact, the organization she talks about that gave its endorsement to Pete Buttigieg, what's it called? The LGBTQ Victory Fund. They're voting based on a single requirement too. Person's got to be gay. Well, that's significantly stupid since there's only one person running who's gay. And until now, to my knowledge, we haven't had any major candidate who's gay. So what they're doing with the money they're receiving, I have no idea. But voting based on a physical characteristic is about as brainless an idea as I've come across. America has been brought low by a large number of things, a great many things, but primarily the thread going through all of them is stupidity. People making stupid decisions, people unable to run and regulate their own lives, people giving power to politicians who accomplish nothing and on top of it, who lie to them. Folks, America can't withstand much more stupidity. We had a shining moment in 2016 when America said to itself, you know what? We can't trust politicians anymore. We're going to vote for this guy Trump. A, he's not a politician. So he's not running in order to accrue riches and power and glory. He had those things already. B, he's got a track record of phenomenal success. He's built a global company, a successful global company. And C, when he talks, he makes sense. He's got common sense solutions to the problems afflicting this country. So I'm going to vote for Trump. Fortunately, some 63 million Americans made that very, very smart choice. But this country is still beleaguered by, still weighed down by millions of brainless individuals who react like Pavlov's dogs. Time we had a woman candidate. Time we had a gay candidate. Time we had a candidate with brown eyes. Time we had a candidate who bites his finger. Enough is enough. We have got to be smarter as a nation, as a society. We've got to draw together so that we're one people. And we have to vote intentionally and intellectually and intelligently. We can't keep voting based on basically what we had for breakfast, which determines how we feel today. And so I would urge Spencer Campbell, whatever your sexual predilection, I couldn't care less. Be smart. In your case, be a lot smarter. And vote for the person who can get things done. Item. From sfgate.com, at least one camera in the hallway outside the cell where authorities say registered sex offender Jeffrey Epstein hanged himself earlier this month had footage that is unusable, although other clearer footage was captured in the area, according to 3 people briefed on the evidence gathered earlier this month. It was not immediately clear why some video footage outside Epstein's cell is too flawed for investigators to use, unquote. My friends, when I was asked to do this show just about exactly 11 years ago, I was asked to do a show about conspiracy. Well, we've gotten a little bit far afield from conspiracy. Not much, but a little bit. But that spidey sense in my head that says something that's too good to be true probably is, and where there's smoke, there's fire, is ringing like a klaxon and saying, just by coincidence, the only video camera that would have captured what went on in that cell just by sheer chance, unusable. Can't look at it. Doesn't work. Not available. You know, if you're watching on video, you can see I'm wearing a Mets baseball cap because of the 50th year from the Miracle Mets of '69. I feel like taking it off and putting back my silver foil cap because I just don't buy it. It's Tuesday. It's Real Truth. We'll be right back.
Suffering from low T? Man up. Grab your rod and your wife. Come float to Upper North Platte Valley and sit in the hot springs app. Call Trout Savers Outfitter at 970-460-8873 or book a trip at TroutSavers.com. At the end of your trip, you can sit in the hot springs. Still be happy to feel legend. Do you remember the energy crisis of the 70s? A lot of people panicked. We came up with a solution. The best way to insulate your house, save you money, and increase your comfort. The best way to air seal and add insulation to your attic. The best way to insulate your wall cabinets, whether your house has brick,
allow me to be alliterative. My name is Howard Real. The show's called Real Truth. Let me indulge in a little alliteration. Making monkeys of the major media. It's not hard to do because they're such jackasses to begin with. It's not easy to find out where they're being stupid because they do it all the time. In fact, they're paid very well to go on TV and lie and be stupid. That's going to be the overarching theme of today's show. Here is Sean Hannity, Fox News, talking about the major media and how Donald Trump is making monkeys out of them. Go.
Right, so snowflake anchors and reporters, they're whining, complaining about President Trump daring to call them out yesterday. Now, let's run through some of the examples. Over at NBC, Chuck Todd was so incensed by the president's press conference, he tweeted, quote, "This is not a laughing matter. I'm sorry. Delegitimizing the press is un-American."
And you know what? I happen to agree with Chuck Todd. Delegitimizing the press is un-American, and idiots like Chuck Todd and the owners of stations like CNN and MSNBC, they are delegitimizing the media. The irresponsible hack whore media is delegitimizing itself by presenting a nonstop 24/7, 365 tissue of lies, of propaganda, of slander. Those major media outlets, and I'm including ABC, CBS, NBC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and most of the newspapers in this country, intentionally lying and delegitimizing themselves. I've told you before, 2019 is my 40th year as a professional journalist. Who knew people could live that long, right? And it troubles me when I see the press brought low and reduced to scandal sheets and propaganda, but that's where we are. Go ahead, Sean.
No, you did it to yourself, Chuck. Now, the president is defending himself from what is an out-of-control media bias, and somehow he's calling that un-American. Now, of course, Chuck wasn't done there. He also compared President Trump to Richard Nixon. Let's watch this.
A lot of this press conference had to do with the president airing grievances about the press. And we got to remember what this is. It's a political tactic. It's one that is a familiar one, but he is going at it in a way we haven't seen a president do since Nixon.
All right, that's a lie. Now, Chuck Todd, I'm pretty sure, gets paid hundreds, if that may, millions of dollars a year to go on TV and tell lies. And he's good at it. Here's why he's lying. Richard Nixon was a criminal. And when he had enemies in the press, they were people who were investigating his criminality. And so he launched on them. Well, that was wrong. Presidents should not be criminals and liars, and the press did a good job of investigating him. Donald Trump is no criminal. Donald Trump speaks the truth. Donald Trump has nothing to hide. Nothing to hide, as evidenced by the fact that since he came down that golden escalator, every molecule of his life has been examined and re-examined. During the Russia collusion hoax, for almost 3 years, 4 separate major investigations, millions of documents, scores of people within his administration interviewed at length, turned up nothing. So Chuck Todd is looking right into the camera, looking America right in the face and lying his ass off. There is no comparison between Richard Nixon and Donald Trump. They both happen to hold the same job. Aside from that, no comparison.
Early 70s.
Correct. Excuse me, young lady. The president is right. You are purveying fake news. I understand why this chick can't understand the sound of truth. That's because she never hears it. Absolutely wrong. He fired General Flynn because he didn't want the taint of scandal and controversy to mar his brand new administration. Turns out Flynn was investigated by the FBI, interviewed by the FBI, and those FBI agents themselves came away saying, we don't think Flynn's lying.
Because when you
Well, Brian Williams is a rectum, and also he's a liar. It's been shown in the past that he lies his butt off. He says he went places he never did things he never did. Brian Williams is still out there lying, still earning millions of dollars a year. The media in this country are a disgrace. You know, it's a slippery slope to begin holding the media accountable for what they do, because I agree, the next thing you know, we're going to be holding them accountable for good things they did. But the fact is, part of me, as a journalist, part of me wishes that there were a crime, that we could connect to the media intentionally putting lies out on the air, because they're doing irreparable damage to this great nation. Excuse me, schmuck. This is Scott Pelley on CBS. What Donald Trump said was the truth. If it endangers your big fat salary, well, that's rough. But he speaks the truth. And the major media, the corporate media, the media that has billions and billions of dollars riding on their purveying lies every day, they are at fault. They're damaging this country, as I said, irreparably. This is someone named Matthew Boyd. Who the hell knows where they dug him up? But he's also a paid liar. Well, hang on, schmuck, hold on. The president is going out there speaking the truth and getting slammed for it. That makes him pretty big in my eyes. You are a weasel who goes on TV and lies. That makes you very, very small.
that leaves us now.
It's Jim Acosta. Jim Acosta is an asswipe. Not surprisingly, he works for an asswipe of a TV network, CNN. You know, I grew up with comic books. Forgive the digression here. I grew up with comic books. I used to read in the Justice League. There was Wonder Woman, right? And she had the lasso. She would throw it around you, and you had to speak the truth. Good Lord. I wish that she were real. And I wish there were such a lasso. And we throw it around the lowlives on CNN. Throw it around this piece of snot, Jim Acosta. And maybe for once hear the truth coming out of their mouths. Now, the fact that they're liars is bad enough, but the fact that they're liars putting out a steady drumbeat of lies that are influencing Americans, pushing them in the wrong direction, making them think things that aren't so, it's very, very dangerous. The media in this country is doing much more harm to America than Russia or China or North Korea or even Iran. The media in this country are poison. They're caustic. And they eat away at the American psyche, the American culture daily, minute by minute. And people who don't know any better hear it on TV, and they see these seemingly prestigious journalists saying these things day after day, and they think, must be true. It's not true. But when you tell a lie often enough, 24/7, 365, there are people who won't be able to tell it's a lie. You say, this is funny. Here's Wolf Blitzer interviewing Jake Tapper. Now, when I learned journalism back in college in New York City, I thought you interview a newsmaker. Now we've got fake news journalists interviewing each other on air, and you know what? This is very indicative of the echo chamber that these people live in. Same echo chamber that Democrat politicians live in. Same echo chamber that liberals live in. The only people with whom they associate, the only people they ask questions of, are people they know in advance believe exactly as they do. And so they say to themselves, well, I must be right because everyone I'm talking to agrees with me. But they're fools. And I know that they don't talk to people who disagree with them because I have friends who are liberals. I have one woman I've spoken about on the air. When I talk to her politics, I don't do it anymore because it doesn't get anywhere. But when I start throwing facts at her, it takes less than a minute for her to go, you know what, how is it? I just can't listen. Don't talk to me. I just can't hear this. Cognitive dissonance kicks in, which is why you got Jake Crapper and Wolf Blitzer interviewing each other. It's like a what do they call it? A circle jerk. Can I say that on the radio? And the end result is that America is harmed. America is weakened. I know that people don't have any faith in the media anymore, but still, people keep their TVs on. If you're in an airport, you hear CNN blasting, and it has a corrosive effect. If Americans would follow my advice and take the time to get educated about politics and about politicians and about policies, we wouldn't have this problem anymore. Unfortunately, America's got better things to do. Let's go to a commercial break, and we'll be back with more Real Truth.
Howard,
Yes, I'm here.
I talked to Myra. She called in.
No, Myra calls in all the time. You know, she comes on the air. First of all, I can hardly hear her. Second of all, she wanders, she talks, she's there, she's here, she's there. She doesn't make any sense, and so no, I'm not going to be able to take Myra. Thank you anyway.
Okay, I wanted to make sure.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Watch this slide included. Visit dropgamers.com and visit the supporting page.
Before hiring a realtor from a big corporation who outsources their jobs to paid no taxes. Ask yourself, what do you really want in a realtor? You need a realtor who is honest.
Myra's a lovely woman. She's well-intentioned. She's called in several times. It's hard to hear her, and she never follows a single line of thought. She comes on and talks about things that I'm not even talking about. All in all, it's just not worth it. Now back to the radio.
I'm your Colorado real estate specialist. Land deals, mountain cabins, or urban dwellings, I've got you covered. For the first-time home buyer, we will make it the best experience. If you are looking to move up or downsizing, we will do better than your last transaction. Call me today at 720-203-0731 or visit coloradoproperties.online. Let me do a great job for you. Ryan again, our favorite landscaping. What a great season we got so far. We've installed flower beds, neighborhood lights on the patio. We planted hundreds of 3D shrubs and flowers and different certified seed. Thank you to all the K's and C's for calling. If you are in Fort Collins, Leavenworth, Fitness, or General Port, please call us at 970-460-8803 or visit us at favoritelandscaping.com. Square Root Construction is pleased to help support the American Freedom Network by offering a high-quality custom construction service. Established in 1990, Square Root Construction is committed with high-quality decks and other plans just outdoors constructed all along the Delta Corridor. With licensed insured technology experience and awesome skills to help you create the outdoors memories of your dreams. For your free consultation and obligation quote, give Doug a call at 303-517-8742 or visit us on the web at squarerootconstruction.com.
Okay, Howard Real, Real Truth, author of Real Truth, Stay Angry, which you can find at virtualbookworm.com. You can also find it at barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com. Almost 600 pages telling you exactly who's running this country, who's been running this country, how they do it, and why it's important for us to seize this opportunity, this Trump presidency, to try and take back a lot of the power that they've stolen from Americans over decades. Very important book, if I say so myself. Real Truth, Stay Angry. Look for it, read it, memorize it. I don't care what you do with it, but just buy it first. Here is Jesse Waters, Waters World on Fox News. He also is going to drive his leg through the ass of the major media. And thank God he is. Go. That's what he just said is very important, my friends. The enemy, the fake news media it truly is the enemy of the American people. They make hundreds of billions of dollars off the American people by feeding them lies. Now, I am heartened by the fact that CNN and other major media outlets are seeing lousy ratings because more Americans than ever before realize they're being conned and scammed. And if you're one of those people who has not yet realized it, it's time to wake up. By the way, Donald Trump has made incredible strides towards bringing the presidency back to the American people. He's always in front of the media, always answering questions. He's got the most transparent administration I've ever seen. So if there's anyone who's pro-media, pro-honest media, it's Donald Trump. Folks, freedom of speech is the bedrock of this great nation. But you have to understand it's a double-edged sword. If you're free to speak when the bad guys don't want you to, that's a fantastic thing. But if you use your freedom to speak to purvey lies, to tilt the news, to put your finger on the scale, use any metaphor you like, then it becomes a very, very, very dangerous weapon, and the major media are using that weapon against the American people. That's why God invented real truth. Now, folks, I want you to understand the sacrifice I'm making. I hate listening to liars, and all these Fox shows, they will show you clips of the liars lying, and few of them really get to me, like Mika Brzezinski. She's the daughter of Zbigniew Brzezinski, who for decades was one of the big movers and shakers in geopolitics in D.C., probably as scummy as they come. And she got this job, I am confident in saying, because she was Zbigniew Brzezinski's daughter. She doesn't have any merit. She's certainly not a journalist, but she goes on the air next to her boyfriend and lies her ass off every single day. But because I love you guys, I'm going to take a hit for the team. I'm going to sit here and listen to Mika Brzezinski. God help me.
He's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts.
Wrong. Wrong. Two lies. Go.
And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control.
Excuse me, unemployment and the economy got incredibly better. What is she talking about worsened? That's three lies in less than 10 seconds.
Exactly what people think, and that is our job.
Did you hear that? Mika just revealed how the press views the public. People incapable of forming their own opinions. Instead of the Fox News motto, we report, you decide, the fake news media motto is, we control what you think. That's because the media does not trust average Americans.
Oh, hang on. Jesse, you're right, but if CNN and MSNBC and the other stations control what people think, it's because a lot of people don't think. They don't think critically. They don't examine the source of the information coming to them. It's because too many Americans allow themselves to be led by CNN and MSNBC. In effect, they allow CNN to tell them what to think. It's lazy, preoccupied Americans, apathetic Americans. And maybe that's the worst poison of all. You know what? I'll tell you what, my friends. I love you. I'm willing to sacrifice for you. I'll even listen to Mika Brzezinski for you. I will not listen to April Ryan. April Ryan is a piece of snot who got where she got. She's in the press room at the White House because she's a black woman, not because she's a journalist. She's not. Not because she's smart. She's not. Not because she's honest. She's not. April Ryan doesn't belong in the White House press pool because she's a numbskull and a liar. And even though I'm willing to listen to Mika Brzezinski's voice for you guys, I'm not willing to go the extra yard and listen to April Ryan. I'm sorry. I would be up all night if I did that, so I'm just going to jettison Miss Ryan. I'm going to recommend that she get out of journalism, maybe get a job in a mall somewhere, or digging ditches, or cleaning toilets. I don't know what she would like to do. But when it comes to someone's destiny, April, journalism ain't it. We'll be back.
Bigfoot? A trustworthy politician? True enough. Yeah, those things are all pretty hard to find. Look, for you, at least a quick proof for it. A quick proving that for my creative quality for a sketch. You don't know, for a contract, offering a customer the best selection, a high quality, available offer. Our installers have decades of experience to make sure their new roofers and installers are quality practice. We also offer a 5-year workmanship warranty for all services and 5-year warranty for most products. A Slate Roofing is always available to handle and get you the deal on. A Slate Roof, friendly for the qualified. Call today 303-5922 and 303-5923 for a free estimate. Or visit us at roofing.com. Roofing.com. A lot of radio stations boast about having 2, 3, 4, 500,000 listeners. But what they don't tell you is the average listener only listens for 4 minutes. A song plays they don't like, same old boring commentary, or worse yet, as soon as the commercial starts playing, they change the station. Here at 1360 KHNC, our listeners listen longer, a lot longer. We have one of the longest time spent listening in the industry. That means our listeners don't change the dial when the commercial starts playing because they don't want to miss what our host has to say next. Advertise with 1360 KHNC and have your message be heard. Call us at 970-587-5003. We also have the best rate in Colorado. 970-587-5003 or 1360KHNC.com.
My friends, here's a group of women who refer to themselves as the chicks on the right. So here are the chicks on the right taking on the left on the Mike Huckabee Show. Go. Think about that, my friends. When someone reports a headline or something, it automatically triggers a shutdown. No judgment about the headline in question, about the protest. We know that people on the left want to shut down people on the right, so they'll complain about everything, whether it warrants it or not, and Facebook just shuts them down instantly. Well, Facebook is a pretty powerful company, and when they are intent on silencing the right, you got to ask some questions about what the hell's going on the left. Why are people on the left, and you see this all over, why are people on the left so eager to shut down the voices on the right? You would think, if they were honest in believing that they have the answers, they have the right viewpoint, that they would want to compare and contrast. They would want to debate. They would want to exchange ideas. But no, they want to shut down anyone that disagrees with them because they know that their own ideas and viewpoint cannot pass muster. They know that they're lying, they're telling untruths, and they know the positions they're taking are un-American and untenable. That's why they want to shut conservative voices down.
Yeah, so I went on full PR, so everybody knew it was happening.
The left is always the censors. The left is always the true racists. The left is always the Nazis, always the fascists, always on the left. Now, I know I went on a diatribe yesterday about the evils of voting for Democrats. Well, I'm going to do it again. I got about a minute before we go to a commercial. The dishonesty, the censoring, the shutdowns, the mass-triggered protests, always on the left. And so if you're voting Democrat, you are empowering the fascists and the liars and the racists and the censors. So don't vote Democrat anymore. You don't hear of any right-wing source shutting down people on the left. In fact, people on the right are always begging those on the left to come debate with me, talk to me. Let's go out in public and air our grievances and our ideas and see what people think. It's like Fox News. We report, you decide. The left won't have any of it. They know their ideas don't stand up to scrutiny. They know the little support they have depends on lies and mischaracterizations. No kidding, the left is a scummy lot. So don't throw your lot in with them. Stand for truth. Truth above all else. A little patriotism now and again wouldn't hurt either. Don't empower the people who are lying to you and trying to tear down this great nation. The more we replace Democrat politicians with Republicans, the more freedom we'll have, the more truth we'll have, and the more prosperous and healthy a nation we will have. We'll take a break and we'll wrap it up. More Real Truth ahead.
Square Root Construction is looking to help support the American Freedom Network by offering high-quality custom construction services. Established in 1990, Square Root Construction constructs high-quality decks and other types of outdoor living projects all along the coastal line. With a licensed, insured, and highly experienced skilled to help you create the outdoor living equipment of your dreams. For a free consultation and obligation quote, give Doug a call at 303-517-8742 or visit us on the web at squarerootconstruction.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Cole.
Okay, item from KCRA.com. Raging Waters was shut down. That's a water park. Raging Waters was shut down early Sunday afternoon after a large fight that started over a beach towel nearly killed a man, officials said. The 40-person brawl, 4-0, began around 3:30 p.m. by the Lazy River picnic area after a disagreement between two women over who took whose beach towel. Folks, my fellow Americans, you can't act like animals, and you can't be stupid. 40 people, 40, in a brawl at a water park over a beach towel. Guys, you got to be better than that, or it gets real hard for me to come on the air and argue on behalf of your rights and privileges, right? Right. Item from CBS 13, Dateline, Escalon, California. Escalon police say a drone reportedly followed two boys as they walked home from school Monday. Police say a resident reported the unmanned aerial vehicle followed their son and another boy as they walked home near Dent Elementary School in the 2100 block of Yosemite Avenue Monday afternoon, unquote. My friends, we're living in bad times, dangerous times. Kids walking home from school are no longer safe. Who knows who was running that drone? So my recommendation for you, take your kids to school, pick them up from school. I know. But the most important thing is always keeping kids safe. Go to the trouble to do it. Item from Breitbart. Hundreds of African migrants are finding themselves trapped in Mexico's southern border region after new immigration rules no longer allow them safe passage to the United States. Stop. Thank you, President Trump. New rules. Without Trump in the White House, these hundreds of African migrants would have just poured into the United States, gone wherever they wanted, done whatever they wanted, together with millions of other people. Illegals, all of them. Thank you, President Trump. Item also from Breitbart. The culture minister of Algeria resigned over the weekend after a stampede at a packed concert by prominent French-based rapper Soul King killed 5 people. So, folks, 5 fans of rap music were killed. Will the planet Earth miss them? Item from Breitbart. Americans say patriotism, religion, and having children are less important to them today than they did 20 years ago, according to a new Wall Street Journal NBC News poll. The poll found that strong majorities of Americans 21 years ago said the principles of hard work, patriotism, commitment to religion, and the goal of having children were the most important to them, unquote. My friends, these days I'm guessing it's having fun, being entertained, like a child with a mobile hanging over its bassinet. Americans are the most entertained human beings in the history of human beings. And it takes us away from more important things, from our society, from our values, from our families. Patriotism is on the wane. It's exactly the wrong time in history for that to be happening. We are fortunate, my friends. We Americans live in the greatest country man has ever made. And to not appreciate that is a crime. It's a crying shame. Get involved with America. Learn and then teach your children exactly why America is the greatest country ever and why we're so lucky, blessed to be living here. I want to see patriotism levels rising in this country, and that's why I'm on the air every day. I'll see you tomorrow. Hasta luego.